Hello there, I'm Azaria Tagaya and this is Nightline. The top stories. The Thailand-Cambodia border dispute. Malaysia will continue diplomatic engagement as leaders of both countries express willingness to continue talks. The Sulu claim case. Paris court quashes $14.9 billion award and orders claimants to pay Malaysia's legal costs. Good morning. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has expressed appreciation for the openness and willingness of both his Cambodian and Thai counterparts to continue negotiations aimed at easing tensions and preventing any misunderstanding that could further escalate the situation. Anwar, who spoke with Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet and Thai Prime Minister Anutin Chanvirakul on Tuesday regarding the ongoing tensions along their shared border, said Malaysia remains committed to supporting peaceful dialogue. In his social media post on Wednesday, the Prime Minister said while a definitive solution had yet to be reached, sustained diplomatic engagement ensured that no further serious incidents occurred during those critical hours. Anwar noted that Malaysia will continue to support peaceful dialogue, solutions grounded on international law and strengthened regional cooperation to safeguard the stability and security of the region. Earlier, international media reported that the century-long Cambodia-Thailand border dispute flared up again after both sides accused each other of violating the ceasefire agreement. Meanwhile, the US has urged Thailand and Cambodia to immediately cease hostilities. President Donald Trump said he would, quote-unquote, make a phone call to help stop the fighting, the most serious escalation since clashes in July in which dozens were killed. Secretary of State Marco Rubio also stressed that both nations must adhere to the de-escalation measures included in a peace accord brokered by Trump in October. The dispute centers on a century-old border issue dating back to maps drawn during French colonial rule, with both countries claiming a series of ancient temple sites along the frontier. Now, fighting between Thailand and Cambodia entered a third day with intense cross-border shelling and air raids, forcing more than 500,000 people from their homes. Both countries have again traded accusations over who reignited the conflict, which has killed at least 13 people and injured 88 this week. The Thai military claimed that Cambodian forces launched around 5,000 rockets and deployed 33 drones in attacks on Ubon Ratchathani and Surin. Cambodia, however, rejected the allegations, insisting that its own territory had come under attack from Thai troops. In a statement, Cambodia's defense ministry said 9 civilians had been killed and another 20 wounded. Thailand, meanwhile, reported 4 soldiers dead and 68 injured after several days of clashes along its forward positions. They added that the border remains highly volatile with units on full alert. They also stressed that they would take whatever measures were necessary to defend the country's sovereignty and protect communities living near the frontier. Meanwhile, more than 500,000 people in Thailand and Cambodia have fled their homes to seek safety since the border conflict reignited, surpassing the total number evacuated during similar clashes earlier this year. In Thailand, over 400,000 civilians have been evacuated into temporary shelters across 7 provinces, including Ubon Ratchathani, Sisaket and Surin. Authorities said the evacuations are meant to keep residents away from areas at risk of attack. Across the border in Cambodia, over 101,000 people have been relocated to emergency shelters across 5 provinces. The latest clashes have raised fears that the conflict could spill over into wider areas. Now, in a related development, Cambodia has pulled more than 100 athletes and officials out of the Thailand Sea Games. The move, made on safety grounds, comes less than a day after the team took part in the opening ceremony in Bangkok. In a letter to Sea Games Federation Chief Executive Officer Chayapak Siriwat, Cambodia's National Olympic Committee said the delegation was withdrawing following safety concerns and growing pressure from athletes' families. The committee added that it had little choice but to arrange the immediate return of all 137 athletes and officials. Cambodia's exit leaves just 10 nations competing at the 33rd Sea Games, which runs from December 9th to December 20th. Moving on, the Paris Court of Appeal has annulled in full the purported $14.9 billion final award issued by Gonzalo Stampa, the arbitrator at the centre of the disputed Sulu claim against Malaysia, and ordered the so-called Sulu claimants to pay 200,000 euros or 950,140 ringgit in costs to Malaysia. In a statement, the Sulu Secretariat's Special War Room said the court, in its ruling on Tuesday, affirmed that Stampa had no jurisdiction to issue the purported final award, as there was no valid arbitration agreement binding Malaysia. The statement added that Malaysia trusts that the victory will put an end to the baseless attempts by the so-called Sulu claimants and their litigation fund Azaria to extort money and assets from the people of Malaysia. It said in any event, Malaysia stands ready to continue its fight before any court called upon by the so-called Sulu claimants. In March 2019, a Madrid court appointed Stampa as arbitrator, but the appointment was subsequently annulled by the same court. Despite this, on February 28, 2022, Stampa issued a quote-unquote final award, ordering Malaysia to pay $14.9 billion based on an arbitration process Malaysia has consistently maintained was illegitimate. On July 18th, the Paris Court of Appeal reserved its decision until December 9th on Malaysia's application to annul the final award sought by individuals claiming to be heirs of the defunct Sulu Sultanate. The hearing followed the French court's ruling on November 6th last year, which upheld an earlier decision denying enforcement of the partial award that had purportedly affirmed the arbitrator's jurisdiction. The government reiterated its unwavering commitment to defend Malaysia's sovereignty, immunity and national interests against what it described as the baseless claims forming the Sulu fraud. The ruling by the Paris Court of Appeal has been hailed as a major victory for Malaysia. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Law and Institutional Reform, Datuk Sri Azalina Uthman Said, described the decision not only as a legal triumph, but also as a win for dignity, sovereignty and rights of all Malaysians, especially the people of Sabah.
Kerajaan sedang meneliti dan mempertimbangkan mekanisme undang-undang yang sesuai yang boleh diguna bagi maksud mendapatkan semula kos dan kerugian yang telah ditanggung oleh Kerajaan Malaysia dalam menangani tuntutan Sulu ini. Sebab itu, Kerajaan Madani sebagai kerajaan yang bertanggungjawab menitik beratkan kestabilan politik dan kestabilan negara.
Meanwhile, Unity Government spokesman Datuk Fahmi Fadil said the Paris Court of Appeal's verdict proves that the claims made were completely baseless.
Malaysia akan terus mempertahankan kedaulatan, kekebalan dan kepentingan negara di mana-mana mahkamah jika keadaan memerlukan.
The government's initiative to separate the roles of the Attorney General and the Public Prosecutor has now entered its second phase. The government will now focus on finalising the proposed institutional structure, alongside a detailed review of whether amendments to the Federal Constitution are required. The second phase will also include an assessment of related legal amendments as well as the drafting of new legislation. The update was shared by the Law and Institutional Reform Minister, Datuk Sri Azalina Uthman Said, in a post on X. According to Azalina, the initiative is outlined in the final report of a comparative study that examined international best practices and gathered views from more than 7,000 respondents. The proposed reforms are also in line with the Cabinet approval for a full separation model of the two roles. On September 10th, the government decided that it would proceed to separate the roles of the Attorney General and the Public Prosecutor following a presentation of the proposed model to the Cabinet. A man has died from gunshot wounds after he was attacked while driving along Jalan Rasa near Seremban in what police believe was a gang-related incident. The victim succumbed to his injuries while receiving treatment at Tuanku Jaafar Hospital, while another man remains hospitalised. Seremban District Police Chief, Deputy Commissioner Dato' Alzafni Ahmad said the attack occurred at around 7:30 a.m. during the morning rush hour near Mambau, heading towards the Port Dickson toll plaza. Preliminary investigations indicate that a motorcycle riding assailant fired at the car as it approached the toll plaza. Police believe the motive was revenge linked to gang rivalry. Both victims who were in the vehicle were rushed to hospital by members of the public. The deceased, aged 43, was reportedly a bodyguard cum driver for the other passengers. passenger. The second man, also in his 40s, is still being treated for his injuries. Police said the injured victim was a suspect in a slashing incident at a shopping mall back in April. The case is being investigated for murder as well as for discharging a firearm. In Johor, an elderly man and his son were killed in a fire that destroyed their double-storey bungalow in Muar on Tuesday. According to police, the fire broke out at 2:35 p.m. in Sungai Abung Darat. The victims were identified as 30-year-old Muhammad Naim Burhan and his father, 75-year-old Burhan Paiman. Naim, who was bedridden, was burnt to death, while Burhan died while receiving treatment in hospital. Police have ruled out foul play and have classified the case as sudden death. The bodies were sent to the Sultanah Fatimah Specialist Hospital for post-mortem. The cause of the fire is being investigated. The opening of the Light Rail Transit Tiga or LRT Tiga line has been postponed to January next year to ensure that the system is completely glitch and error-free. According to Prasarana Malaysia, 22 train sets are still undergoing fault-free testing. The operator said each train must complete 4,000 kilometres of fault-free operation before the system can be open to the public. It also stressed that system safety and reliability remain the top priority to ensure LRT Tiga is a safe and efficient transport option for commuters. Media Prima Berhad has been described as a media group that reflects the realities of Malaysian society through its dynamic platforms and diverse content offerings. This perspective was shared by envoys from Austria, Switzerland and Germany during their visit to Media Prima's headquarters in Balai Berita Bangsa on Wednesday morning. The delegation was welcomed by Media Prima's top management, led by Group Chairman Datuk Sri Dr. Syed Hussein Al-Junaid, Group Managing Director Datuk Rafiq Razali and Group Chief Financial Officer Rosli Sabaruddin. During the visit, the delegation toured several facilities, including newsrooms and studios. They were also briefed on Media Prima's integrated operations across television, radio, digital, print and advertising platforms.
I got the impression that this large company almost is a reflection of the rich Malaysian society with all your different ethnicities and languages. So it's very impressive, and also, of course, how you embrace new technologies.
A major print media in the group, such as the New Straits Times, which is also an English-speaking media. So I could see that we have potential collaboration, especially with this kind of channel.
The visit has also opened the doors to potential strategic collaboration between Media Prima and European partners due to the company's unique multilingual reach and Malaysia's diverse social landscape.
It's really impressive, and also it's TV, it's radio, it's digital, print. It's really impressive. And you can really see also that Malaysian society is already so diverse. It's in English, it's Malay, it's in Chinese. It's incredible what Prima Media does.
Also present were Media Prima News and Current Affairs Group Managing Editor Jasban Singh, Media Prima News and Current Affairs Deputy Group Managing Editor and New Straits Times Group Editor Farah Naz Abdul Karim, Deputy Group Editor of Berita Harian M. Tilenathan and Group General Manager of Corporate Communications and Group Chairman's Office Azlan Abdul Aziz. Khazanah Nasional has reduced its shareholding in Tenaga Nasional Berhad or TNB to 15.82% following the disposal of another block of shares, its second major divestment in 2 years. In a filing with Bursa Malaysia, Khazanah said the latest sale involved more than 135 million shares on December 4th, bringing its direct holdings down to just under 922 million shares. The transaction is estimated to be worth about 1.7 billion ringgit. In a separate filing, the Employees Provident Fund or EPF disclosed that it had acquired more than 40 million TNB shares, raising its total holdings to 1.2 billion shares. This further strengthens EPF's position as TNB's largest shareholder. Malaysia's labour market remained stable in October, supported by strong economic activity. The unemployment rate held at 3%, while the number of employed persons continued to rise.
According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, DOSM, employees made up 74.8% of total employment. The services sector remained the main contributor, followed by agriculture, manufacturing and construction. Youth unemployment involving those aged 15 to 24 also remained stable at 10%. DOSM expects the labour market to remain resilient, supported by strategic investments and ongoing human capital development. The 2026 Visit Malaysia Year campaign is expected to be a major catalyst for the economy and the stock market next year. The sectors set to benefit include transport, hospitality, healthcare and consumer-related industries. According to MBSB Investment Bank, Malaysia is well positioned to capture rising demand and stimulate economic growth. The campaign targets 47 million visitor arrivals and 329 billion ringgit in tourism revenue. Meanwhile, investment in artificial intelligence is expected to strengthen through 2026, with data centres benefiting indirectly. MBSB noted that the growing presence of data centres in Malaysia has become a key catalyst for the construction sector, which is projected to remain a main growth engine next year. Senior citizen charged with murdering wife. This and more after this breather.
Siapa yang betul-betul gegarkan sosial media anda? Jom kita cari di obrolan paling viral online.
Kalau kita seorang je perempuan dalam bidang tu yang ramai lelaki, saya rasa itu bukan satu kurangan bagi kita. Sebenarnya itu adalah kelebihan untuk kita. Jangan takut.
Walaupun mereka OKU, tak nak pelajar ni kena habis dan faham baru dia boleh bersaing dengan pelajar yang normal.
Kemahiran ni hari-hari kita guna pakai. Lagi mana terlibat dalam industri maritim ni boleh jalan lah walaupun sukar. Dan TVET ni dia boleh menjamin masa depan.
Mami, Adis nak keluar sekejap ni.
Malam-malam macam ni?
Awak ingat, awak boleh hidup tak ada saya ke? Awak jangan menyesal lah.
Nak Adis kan? Saya nak dia sujud depan saya.
Siapa yang cakap akak nak hasut suruh cerai ni?
Mami, kenapa ni?
Kau tengok! Kau tengok apa yang kau dah buat!
Ini semua fitnah.
You jangan berani, Zaim.
Sudah.
Tapi Mami bersumpah, ya. Hidup Usna tu takkan tenang selama-lamanya.
Kau mak mertua zalim.
Sumpah Ibuku di Akasia TV3.
Di sinilah bintang berkilau dan keunggulan diraihkan. Dan tahun ini, legasi terus tercipta. Anugerah Bintang Popular Berita Harian ke-37, satu keunggulan. 12 Disember, Jumaat, 9 malam, eksklusif di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Nightline continues. Segambut Bersatu Deputy Chief Adam Radlan Adam Muhammad will soon give his statement to the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission to assist in investigations into the construction of the Maju Expressway Extension or MEX-2 project. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki said the agency had established contact with Adam, who is abroad, and had assured the MACC of his full cooperation.
Dan tempoh terdekat baru-baru inilah ada peguam kita berhubung dengan dia dan dia telah kembali kepada kita dan peguamnya daripada Ketuan Syafiq Abdullah juga ada hantar surat kepada kita memberi jaminan dia akan datang untuk beri keterangan.
Azam was speaking to reporters after officiating the MACC UITM Inspira 2025 program held in conjunction with Integrity and Leadership Day at UITM Puncak Alam. The MACC had previously worked together with the Immigration Department to trace Adam Radlan. The 44-year-old politician had earlier been the subject of an investigation into the Jana Wibawa project. He was, however, later discharged and acquitted by the court of 12 charges of corruption and money laundering after paying a compound of 4.1 million ringgit.
In Kelantan, an unemployed man was charged in the Tanah Merah Magistrates Court for murdering his wife at their home in Kuala Ipoh last week. The accused, Ibrahim Sulaiman, only nodded in understanding after the charge was read out before the magistrate.
No plea was recorded from the accused as the murder case falls under the jurisdiction of the High Court. According to the charge, the 63-year-old man, who is a father of two, is accused of murdering 40-year-old Mastura Abdullah at a house in Kampong Paku between 9:30 a.m. and 12:15 p.m. on December 1st. Ibrahim was charged under Section 302 of the Penal Code, which provides for the death penalty. If not sentenced to death, the accused faces imprisonment of between 30 and 40 years and at least 12 strokes of the rotan. The court set February 12th for remention. Earlier reports said the man was alleged to have stabbed his wife to death out of jealousy after suspecting that she may have had a boyfriend since taking up a job as a cook at a canteen in Selangor. The suspect surrendered at the Kuala Ipoh police station 2 hours after the incident and after picking up his son from school.
In Perak, a boarding school student pleaded guilty in the Parit Magistrates Court to 14 charges of physical sexual assault and sodomy involving a younger student. 3 of his friends were also charged but pleaded not guilty to 4 counts each. The accused, aged 16, is charged with sodomizing a 14-year-old male student. The offence was allegedly committed in a dorm room at a secondary school in Kampong Gajah on November 27th. He is also said to have committed the offence together with the other 3 students on 3 different days. He was granted bail of 5,500 ringgit, while the other 3 were each allowed bail of 2,000 ringgit. The case has been fixed for mention on February 10th. Mass casualties in Morocco building collapse. The details when Nightline returns.
Belajar kini lebih semangat dengan TV Tuition. Lebih 5,000 video pembelajaran, lebih 100 hos hebat, terdiri daripada selebriti dan guru berpengalaman. Ulang kaji jadi lebih seronok dengan lebih 10,000 soalan latihan serta ulasan guru yang membantu anda faham dengan cepat dan mudah. Apa tunggu lagi? Langgan sekarang dan stream ditonton. TV Tuition, belajar ditonton, bijak sampai lulus.
Tiada yang bersedia menerima kehilangan.
Mungkin itu adalah salah satu cara kamu mencintai orang yang pergi lebih dahulu dari kamu.
Bila yang pulang hanyalah sekujur jasad.
Bangunlah, Pak.
Menampilkan lakonan hebat Dayan Trisha, Zarif Ghazi dan Matthias Mucius. Rumah Menanti Cahaya, Ahad ini 9 malam. Dicereka Ahad TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Hubungan songsang makin parah di Malaysia, wujudkan hukuman untuk kekal isu tidak bermoral ini. Masalah kesihatan berkaitan batu dalam badan, ketahui risiko dan rawatannya. Adim, dah suka sangat main pickleball sebab dapat bergaul dengan ramai orang tau. Tapi Daya, kena hati-hati jangan sampai memudaratkan. Kereta ditenggelami air banjir, apa yang perlu kita buat? Juga diskaun ihsan untuk penyelesaian awal sewa beli. Isnin hingga Jumaat jam 10 pagi, stream Ditonton dan TV3.
We're back with news from the foreign front. Australia on Wednesday became the first country to enforce a groundbreaking ban on social media use for children under 16. The ban came into effect with authorities ordering 10 social media platforms, including TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X and YouTube, to block children or face fines of up to $33 million. Approximately 200,000 accounts were deactivated on TikTok alone, and more accounts are expected to be blocked in the coming days. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said this was one of the biggest social and cultural changes in Australia and that it would make an enormous difference. Under the new law, penalties target platforms rather than children or their parents, with the e-Safety Commissioner pledging to enforce compliance using its regulatory powers under the Online Safety Act. At least 22 people were killed and 16 others injured after two four-story buildings collapsed in the historic city of Fez, Morocco on Tuesday. Authorities said the first building gave way at around 11 p.m. local time in the Al Mustaqbal neighborhood, followed moments later by a second adjoining block. A search and rescue operation is ongoing to locate anyone who may still be trapped under the rubble, while the injured were taken to hospital. Several Moroccan news outlets reported that the buildings, home to 8 families, had shown signs of deterioration for years. As of Wednesday morning, it remained unclear what caused the collapse or how many people were still unaccounted for. On to sports now. Malaysia claimed 2 gold medals on the opening day of the 2025 Thailand Sea Games on Wednesday. The men's five-a-side hockey team won the country's first gold, while the women's team in Taekwondo Pumse secured the second. The national contingent earned their first gold of the competition after Malaysia's hockey five-side trashed Indonesia 7-3 in the men's final in Bangkok. Malaysia, runners-up at last year's inaugural Hockey Fives World Cup, secured goals through Akimullah Anwar Esuk, Abid Sufyan Mat Rusli, Lokmanul Halim Ahmad Shukran and Shafiq Iqmal Daniel Suzaini. Muhammad Fatur and Alfandi Prasetyo replied for Indonesia. Meanwhile, the women's team had to settle for silver after losing 1-7 to Thailand in their final. Later in the day, Malaysia's Taekwondo team secured the nation's second gold at the Sea Games, winning the women's team Pumse event with a display of skill and precision. The trio, Xia Jingying, Wong Zin and Yeo Mei Yi, had not been considered favourites, but their performance impressed the judges and narrowly saw off Thailand's team of Chon Lakon Chayawato, Chutikan Lapnitayapan and Ratchadawan Tapaentong. Malaysia also picked up bronze medals, with Chin Ken Hao becoming the first Malaysian athlete to win a medal in this edition of the Games. The men's team Pumse, comprising Chin Ken Hao, Randy Owen and Jason Liu, added a second bronze to the tally. Still on the 2025 Thailand Sea Games, Malaysia's bid for gold in the men's badminton team event ended in disappointment after the national squad were comprehensively defeated 3-0 by Indonesia in the final. The tie started on a subdued note when first singles player Leong Jun Hao struggled to find his rhythm against Alwi Farhan, eventually falling 12-21, 19-21 in a 46-minute duel. Pressure then shifted to top doubles pair Aaron Chia and So Woo Yik, but the former world champions were off colour, losing 12-21, 12-21 to the Indonesian duo of Muhammad Reza Pahlavi Isfahani and Sabar Karyaman Gutama. Malaysia's last hope rested on second singles player Justin Ho, but the youngster could not match the high tempo of Muhammad Zaki Ubaidillah and lost 12-21, 14-21. With the results, Malaysia drop outside the top 5 in the medal tally, having secured 2 golds, 2 silvers and 9 bronzes so far. Well, that's it from us. As we leave you, let's take a look as Nigeria's visual artists put the finishing touches on their contributions for the inaugural Lagos Street Art Festival. I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thank you for watching. See you next time.